Hi, I'm Claude.
And I'm Jess.
We are corporate employees by day, entrepreneurs by night, and work besties for life.
Join us as we explore how work besties lift each other up, laugh through the chaos, and thrive together in every industry.
Work Besties!
Welcome, everybody. Today we have a very exciting lineup. We have two individuals, Christine and Renee, that I have met through a mutual friend. I don't want to give away any details on them and their work-life situation, so I'm going to actually let them introduce themselves. Christine and Renee.
So my name is Christine, and I live and teach in New Jersey. And I've been teaching, I have been teaching for probably about 25 years, but I took a break to have my children. And then when my youngest was about a year old, I went back and have been back ever since. And it's been great.
Awesome. And Renee, what about you?
Okay, I'm Renee. I'm also teaching. I also live in New Jersey, work in New Jersey. I obviously work with Christine, and I've been in that school for, I think this is my 26th year, 27th maybe. So we're definitely like this. We were talking about this. So we're like definitely the senior teachers. We don't feel that way, but we have all these new fresh faces coming in, and we're like, wow, we've been here quite a while. I teach sixth grade. It's a middle school, so I teach sixth grade mostly, special ed, English, and I do resource room replacement classes, but I also do in-class support classes where I team teach with another, we co-teach together with another, general education teacher. So
well, first, before we get into your relationships, thank you both for being teachers and in a middle school. That's the toughest age for kids. And
bless your heart.
Yes. So thank you for that. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about your two relationship and how you guys became work besties?
I'll start. So I came to this district about 12 years ago, and I was first in the elementary school, and our supervisor, because we're both special ed teachers, asked if I would move to the middle school. And since I had been in a middle school in my old district, I just said, sure, I'll go. And it was the summertime. We had curriculum writing, and I remember walking into one of the schools where we were doing the curriculum writing, and all these middle school teachers, special ed middle school teachers, were there. And I sat down next to Renee, and we immediately just hit it off.
What was that special moment that really made you hit off, right? Because it's not always, was that the special, like comment that was made and you laugh, or what was that special
was it just
moment?
A feeling? What kind of spurred it?
Well, I think it was just like during that curriculum writing, Renee and I went on a walk, and it's just like we didn't even know each other, and we went on this long walk, and the conversation was just so free flowing. Even though she has 2 kids and I actually have 7 kids, and there's just things that are different about us, there was a lot of common ground, and we could kind of, just vibe like that, I guess. So
I agree. That's where we met, at that, curriculum writing workshop. And again, she sat next to me, and we just started talking. And as teachers, we meet people daily, on a daily basis, right. Teachers from different schools, and we have so many workshops, but it's something clicked or connected. And yeah, it was weird because we walked on that very first, day we met, and we've been walking together ever since. It's funny because we're known for, I guess when we get in more into like what we do at school, I mean, during our breaks, like we plan out like when we can have our, our time to walk. And then even in the summer, or whenever we can, we try to like, and we don't live, near each other, but we try to meet in a halfway point and meet to walk. So that's like
That
our
was
thing.
awesome.
That's our thing.
So even, when you're not at school, you're going to meet and do your,
Yeah,
Sometimes, yeah. I
definitely.
mean, it's just like we have a routine, like a regular, like
yeah.
every Saturday. But anytime, like if we just kind of spur of the moment, I'll text her. I'm like, "What are you doing at, do you have free time between 9 and 11?" And sometimes she's like, "Nope, I'm have a dentist appointment or something." But sometimes she's like, "Sure, I'll get in the car and I'll meet you." So, and then we meet at like a park usually because it's like halfway, and we do some laps around the park and catch up on all of the stuff that we catch up
All
on.
the stuff. That's so fun. What a nice way
Yeah.
to like connect and just continue your bond.
Well, at school, we, I mean, we've been working together, I don't know how many years, and we always met, and we don't have the same schedule. We teach different times and different students. Sometimes we have the same students, but we always manage to find the one period that we have a free period. And we take advantage of that. And if it's bad weather, we walk in the school and
Hmm.
we walk around the school. We walk up and down the stairs. We go and people see us. And I think that's what we're known for, and or we go outside and we take our phone and check, make sure we're back at the right time. And
Mhm.
we do like a little loop around the neighborhood of the school that we walk. And sometimes if it's a half day or a shortened period, we're like, whoops, we gotta get
Yeah.
back.
I gotta get
But
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's like, our thing.
And what do the other people in your school say or think about your connection?
Well, we used to have this assistant principal. He left a couple of years ago, and he would always make fun of us. It was not in a good way. He
Like a
made fun of
lighthearted
us,
way,
but
right?
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people just a lighthearted way. Yeah, yeah.
He's
And
like,
like he,
there you again, or like he would make it
right,
like a little funny comment.
a little jab, like, oh
We would
boy,
get
here
our
comes trouble.
yeah.
And we walk really fast. So even if we're just walking in the school, people stop and they're like, oh, we know you're getting your steps in, you're trying to close your rings. And I think some people might envy the camaraderie that we have.
Yeah, I was going to say the our mutual friend that we have, when I told her about this podcast that we were doing, she instantly thought of you two and made the comment how she has never experienced two individuals that are just so in sync with each other and just seem to almost vibrate off of each other and bring such positivity to the rest of the school because of it. So it's great to see and hear from
Yeah.
your examples how that comes to life.
The first couple of years that I worked at the school, Renee and I were together. So we actually shared a room. And I think our principal put us together because Renee kind of like showed me the ropes, and kind of I got to understand the school culture through Renee. And I have to say, like, I was just like today reflecting back on our first classroom, and it became like, because there was like things going on in our lives, our personal lives, that room became such a sanctuary for us, and we had it decorated so nice, and the heat was always blasting, and it was like you just walk in there and it was so welcoming, but the heat was almost like a warm blanket because we needed it. And we were just so blessed to have each other during, especially during that time.
It's really beautiful what you're just saying, and this camaraderie and having in this room. Were there impact of your friendship? Was it impacting the kids and the kids' behavior that they really understood and embraced it?
I think just jumping on what Christine said about that first time we shared a room, because then there were
Mhm.
many years that we didn't, like we would just have to find each other. There were like deaths in the family, divorce,
Mhm.
cancer, all kinds of stuff, family trauma, like, and, we were there for each other. And then we had to teach, like things would happen in the morning and we'd have this like quick 10-minute debriefing of like what happened last night or what just happened this morning on the way to school. And then you have to, like, as a teacher, right, compose yourself, and
Mhm.
you got to be on. There's no hiding behind a cubicle, if you have a bad day at home. So we were there for each other to support one another during that time. So yes, I think the kids could see that that the fact that we had each other support each other, then we were okay to start the day and put on our teacher face and teacher gear and teacher hat and, and do what we needed to do for our job. But and then when we didn't share, I mean, we were really sad when they split us up. But we always managed to find each other. Like I said, I mean, our periods are always the class and the schedule changes every year, especially for special ed. I mean, I've worked with different teachers. I've been in different rooms, and then just the fact that we could always find each other and then still be there for one another with all of the ups and downs of life. It really does help in the work environment. It helps you work, be a better teacher.
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing.
That's great.
So I'm sure others see you and are probably a little envious. Do you ever try and encourage other teachers to find that walking partner as well, or whatever connection they can?
I definitely think that we've set a great example. I mean, we've had a big push the past couple of years of SEL, which is social emotional learning, for the students, but also for the teacher, teacher wellness. So, we just doing that is just really part of our teacher wellness. And other teachers have seen us, and I've seen, some other teachers walking together. And even on those really cold days, we'll be walking in because it's a period change and they'll be like looking at us and I'm just like, you got to get out there. It's cold, but it's like so invigorating. And they do it, so I think our positivity really shines through.
So, quick question: what do you love about each other? Well,
What was
yeah.
the question?
What?
She said, what do you love about each other?
Good question.
It is a good question. I would have been like, what are
Oh
some
my gosh.
characteristics you would...
I
I
speak,
just
like
I love Renee's authenticity and she's tough. She's really tough. Like she's really good and she's just so real and she's just so easy to work with and she just says it like it is. And I'm, a little bit more like reserved, but Renee really just, she doesn't put a tooth in it. That's what the Irish people say. She does it in a good way, in a really in a respectful, calm way. And I just love her, like her authenticity, her realness. She's just an amazing, strong, inspiration.
Now it's funny because that's the only thing I disagree with. I don't feel I'm tough at all. I feel like I'm like this weak,
No.
I try to, stay under the radar at school. I try not to make any waves, but I guess, yeah, I mean, been through a lot, so try to be, strong about those things. But, I love the fact that Christine and I could, like you said before, it seems like we kind of bounce off each other. I don't know what somebody described that. Like we don't go out that often, like outside of school, right? Except for a little walk, but then but this summer we said we were going to go to the beach. And it was like the second to the last week of August, and we're like, we got to do it. Let's go. And everything we do is like, we're easy with it. Like no one's saying go this way, or I don't want a coffee, or I don't want to walk here. Right. Right, Christine, we just kind of like got in the car and, she wanted to park here. We parked, we walked a little, and then we went to the beach and sat on the beach. We just did everything in sync together without a plan and without like, not that we would argue about it, but it was like almost like we had the exact same agenda. And we just kind of make it work without really saying too much, right? Without really making too much of a plan.
This year we're going to be rooming together again. It's just incredible. We don't know what happened.
We couldn't believe, we were like, it's too good to be true.
We were just in shock.
Yeah.
The stars aligned and you're back together.
Right.
Together. And I hope that rides us through retirement. We have, I don't know how long we have, but to the end.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So it is nice to have a really good friend at work, because work's not always easy.
No.
And life's not always easy. Home life is not always easy. And it's nice to have somebody there to, for support and, encouragement.
Yeah.
And you both
Christine
kind of
is very,
understand where you're coming from, right? Like you both get, and you know, you're dealing with similar situations, similar parents, so like you definitely can
Yeah.
help each other.
We both really care about our students. Like we love our students and we work hard while we're there. And we definitely both do like to fly under the radar, you know, not to make too many waves. And we
Yeah.
don't take our work home. You know, there's just some teachers who like it's all like their job is all consuming. But, you know, I think we have a really good balance between, you know, because we have a lot going on at home. So, you know,
Right.
we're moms first.
Right.
Another thing I realized, it just came to me, that we do talk about, it's not always like, you know, we talk about what we're going to make for dinner, right, Christine?
Always.
So like, it's funny because we both go food shopping on the weekend. So I'm like, what did you buy? And we both go to ShopRite. So we ask about the sale. She's like, oh, I got the corn for, you know, it's 10 for, you know, whatever. I'm like, oh, I got that too. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what did you make with it? And then like, you know, we try to, you know, meal prep. So she'll talk about like what, you know, she made. And then she's like, I'll have to, her famous, I'm going to send you the recipe. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. And, you know, so it's funny because we talk about that. It seems to be almost daily, right, Christina?
Yeah. We're like modern throwbacks, you know, we just really just kind
We
of,
really, yeah.
you know, I think
We're like
where
old school.
and where we come from is very important to us.
Okay. I feel like you guys should make a cookbook.
Work besties.
Work besties.
Cookbook.
Who
Yeah,
can teach you how to cook.
Yeah, it's true.
That's so
We are
cool.
like, I think we are like old school, old fashioned in some respect with our, you know, family values and sitting down and making a dinner, sitting down with our kids when they're home.
Right.
You know, respecting, you know, parents. I mean, Christine's parents have passed away, but she's very, very respectful to her husband's parents are both alive and they're like in their 90s, you know, so
That's
she's
awesome.
very, as a daughter-in-law, she's, you know, sees them a couple times a week, makes them dinner. And I do the same for my mom. Like, you know, my mom's still, you know, she lives alone, but she, you know, she likes to cook still, but, you know, I make it a point for my kids to visit her, or, you know, so we definitely have those family values that we, you know, really connect to as well.
Yeah. And that's what you can on your connection. That must be a big part of it.
Yes, definitely.
So knowing you guys have such a strong connection, curious if you guys, so you work together now and now you're going to be in the same classroom. I'm curious from your perspective, as you guys chatted about what you love about each other. What is it about your friendship and relationship that's so different compared to other ones?
Oh, that's a good one.
Thanks. Really thought hard on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, it's friendships are funny because, you know, I've often heard there's like friends for a reason, friends for a season, you know, there's that adage. I don't really know how it goes. And, you know, I mean, I have a friend from, you know, so it's just really nice to have like Renee as a constant, you know, because the daily grind is it can be rough, you know, but it's just really great to just know that she's going to be there when I get to work.
And you, Renee, what about you?
I agree. I mean, I share certain things with Christine that I really don't share with anybody else when it comes to some, you know, issues that, you know, I've had to deal with, because I know that she will be just like a neutral ear, you know, she'll just listen, and without judgment. You know, we all make mistakes. So if I feel like, I'm like a terrible mom, you know, like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Right? And, you know, have said this, you know, similar things to me, you know, like I feel like I'm not doing my, you know, all, I'm doing it all. And I still feel like I'm, you know, sometimes we don't feel like we're doing enough, right? We always feel like we have to do so much, and we, between, work and home and everything, right? And
Right.
we always try to just kind of say, no, you're doing the best you can, right? And Christine will always be there and say, no, you're doing the best you can. Another thing, Christine is very spiritual, which is calming, because sometimes, you can really get wrapped up in like the anger, or just like your level of like, anxiety is like up here. And Christine always finds strength in her faith, and I really admire her for that. And she helps me,
You definitely need somebody in your life, and it's great when it's your work bestie, so you can see them all the time. But you definitely need
Yeah.
somebody that can, one, remind
Yeah.
you that yes, you're good enough, and what you're doing right now is probably more than you're anticipating or thinking. But then, yes, also somebody who can ground you and say, like, take that moment, meditate, take a deep breath.
Right.
You are more important than this individual element that's going on. And it sounds like your favorite line. It sounds like she says this every episode. It kind of sounds like you guys are a little bit like there's similarities for sure, right? You talked about you both love to cook, you both are avid walkers and supportive of each other, but it sounds like you're a little bit of a yin and a yang. You have different personalities
Yeah.
and you definitely complement each other. I stole your line.
I know.
I was waiting for you to say
I'm
it.
afraid of saying it now. What about trust?
Oh, yes. You want to bring that up? So, yeah, where we were going with that is you do hear a lot of common themes around work besties and what value they have, not just to your organization and the productivity. So I'm sure your kids, whether you guys see it or not, I'm sure your kids see it and how close you guys are and what positivity you bring to the classrooms. But the other thing that's impressive too is how much it helps you as an individual and as a worker. One of the things that Claude's bringing up is the level of trust really needs to be there with your work bestie. And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say definitely, that was the one thing that I remember. Well, one of the things I remember when I first started teaching at this school and having to share a classroom with Renee, I didn't know what I was doing and I had to teach. And that's one of the things that you have to do as a teacher in our building is that you need to teach in front of another teacher because you share a room and they're on a prep and you're like, oh my gosh, they're judging me, they're judging my my classroom management skills, they're judging my teaching ability, and I just had to let that go, and I continue to have to let that go. But I also think that it makes you a better teacher when you have someone who's maybe not technically keeping you accountable, but you know, there's another person in the room, there's another adult, and you want to, be your best for the students, but you want to just be your best for that other person too.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would assume it kind of helps, just helps remind you of like what you're doing there, and having that other person has got to make you feel like you've got that level of trust and support if anything does
Yeah.
go differently than you're anticipating.
Right. But I have to say that, like, just having Renee around, like, this year we weren't together. Well, we haven't been together in a number of years. And, there's just things that, like, grades and SGOs and PDPs, all this, alphabet soup that we have as teachers. And, and I'm like, I don't have Renee to tell me. I don't even know when grades are due, and I forget how to post my grades. And it's just, so great to have Renee. I'm so happy that we'll keep each other in the know.
Accountable.
This year.
Funny, because I feel like I know I can do it myself, right?
Right.
Christine, we've said
Yeah.
this. Every
Yeah.
year we have the same thing to do, like set up the grade book, set up Google Classroom,
Right.
do the SGO, right? And it's like I'm handicapped. Like it's like I have to wait for Christine to, and she also said, well, I didn't do it yet either. And it's almost like I have to have her side right by my
Right,
side.
yeah.
I feel like you guys are that meme. It's mostly from like corporate office situations where they're both like using a mouse together.
Oh yeah.
Or they're
Right.
both like
Even just
typing an
yeah.
email, and it's like each person has one hand on the computer. That seems like you two.
Yeah.
You're like that close. You do
I mean,
everything.
it's ridiculous because even just the other day, she's like, all right, I just learned Canva and I'm going to show you how to put it on your classroom. So I'm like, oh, all right, I'm not going to do my Google Classroom until Christine shows me how to put the Canva on. Like, I mean, it's just like, we're doing it all the
I
time.
learned how to do it, and I said, I can't wait to show Renee how to do this.
Aw, but that's the value also of having somebody that you're so close with at work that you feel
Yeah.
that comfort level to be
Exactly.
like,
You take the strength of each other,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know?
which means you're both stronger.
Exactly. What would you say to the future generation, the importance and of having a work bestie and how to find them?
Christine and I talk about, our kids, right? And the difference with the going, into the workforce and how different it is, right? I mean, because of, cell phones and social
Oh, yeah.
media and all that, right? So sometimes it's harder for them to make these connections because the communication is lost. I mean, they're texting each other, they're Snapchatting each other, they're on Instagram, but are they really like, sitting down and having a conversation? We as adults are able to do that because, we've grown up that way. But so the new teachers coming in, I feel like yeah, they'll definitely be able to interact with their colleagues and students, but they have a different background, right? A different, and especially the even younger ones, I feel like they'll be more difficult. We had a discussion about how a lot of these new jobs are all virtual.
Right.
I mean, a lot of them are coming out of college and then they're like, oh, I have a job that's, 5 days a week. I'm at home working.
Right.
So you're not learning the social skills. You're not learning the personal skills. You're not meeting people face to face. You're not getting dressed up and showering and going out there and out of your house. So, it's going to be challenging for some of those. I really feel it definitely will be.
Right. Which we
Christine.
feel like some of the things that we've been either hearing through other guests or even ourselves is, and that's why we started this, was because we are trying to encourage the younger generation to take the time to just grab a coffee with somebody. And to your point, even if you're virtual, you could still do that. You could set up 15 minutes with them and say, hey, I just want to get to know you. Maybe a little bit about your job, but like who you are and how you got here. And I'm sure same thing with teachers too. Like that would be so value added to hear how you two got there, because you've got more years of experience than a lot of these new individuals that are starting, and just having that appreciation and understanding.
And what that
So
friendship brought to each other, you know?
my daughter is going to begin her teaching career tomorrow. And,
Yay,
Congratulations.
she's going to start teaching high school. She's only 22. And I said, I'm so excited for her to, she has friends from high school still and college, but I'm just so excited for her to make friends in the workplace. And I said, don't be afraid to ask for help. Just don't even mind the generational gap. You might find yourself, a workplace bestie who's 10 years older than you or 15 years old, but put yourself out there and be vulnerable and be yourself and cultivate the workplace friendships, because it makes the grind a lot easier.
It makes a world of difference.
Love it.
Makes it
That is great advice, and advice that we want to continue to
Bring it
promote
out
out there and create this warm community to encourage people of that. Because you're right. You shouldn't just, it's great to have friends that are out in your workplace that are similar to you, whether that's age or your hobbies, but it's also good to branch out and just take that moment
learn from each other.
Yeah. And you're right. Like some of my work besties, pre-Claude, of course, were definitely different, much older or just very different than me in general.
Yeah.
And I really think it added value to them just as much as me. When you think
No,
about.
totally. Same thing. I had some friendship. I mean, I had still, to this day, that are totally different that I might not have been friend with if it would not have been to meet in this place, in a certain place. And I feel like it would have been a hole in my heart because, they bring you so much and you can bring them so much. So I really love, Christine, what you're saying, to branch out. Don't look at the age gap or anything, because it
Yeah.
can bring you so much. Do you have anything else
Any
to
parting
add,
words or any last things you want to say?
No,
I
just
think this was a great opportunity for us to tell each other how much we
me too.
appreciate each other because, we hang out
Aw.
together, but how many opportunities do you have to really say something
Yeah.
to your friend that you appreciate them and enjoy working with them? So this was a great opportunity to do
Yeah,
so.
this is great.
And I think it's wonderful that you have this podcast and you give everyone this platform to speak about um, this a positive thing, right?
Right.
Right.
Positive thing.
And it's something that every industry can benefit from. Like,
yes,
we've
Yeah.
been shocked, some of the guests that we've had, and how,
from everywhere?
yeah, and like in some industries where you would think it's almost built in not to be friends, like the
Yeah.
actors and actresses that we had, and the amount of the change in their dispositions and even in their working style changed dramatically when they found each other as work besties. So yeah, we
Yeah.
totally feel that this movement
Yeah.
is important, and we hope
Thank
more and
you.
more people like you are put in the limelight to showcase the value of
Yeah.
it. So thank you. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you guys,
Thanks
and
so
we
much.
appreciate you as
Yes.
teachers. Thank you very much, guys. Remember, whether you're swapping snacks in the break room, rescuing each other from endless meetings, or just sending that perfectly timed meme, having a work bestie is like having your own personal hype squad.
So keep lifting each other up, laughing through the chaos, and of course, thriving. Until next time, stay positive, stay productive, and don't forget to keep supporting each other. Work